The person responding to you has something different to respond to, and therefore they respond differently.
In your case, you want to be liked, but not if it means pretending to be something else.
Yeah, and growth is a process.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't just jump to growth.
Mm-hmm. Right, and I like to be genuinely, authentically me. I'm not purposely trying to offend anybody. The mask we wear, how pretending in a relationship breaks trust. Welcome to another episode of Marriage with Jim and Teresa. I'm your host, Jim. Joining me in studio is my wife of the last 40 years, the mother of our 4 children, Teresa the therapist. Hey, Teresa.
Hey, Jim.
And back again is youngest daughter, Ellie.
Hello. Oh, hi, Dad.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Hey, I got to tell you, though, we're talking about a subject today. I'm interested to hear your take on it. The mask we wear, how pretending breaks trust. I'm totally unfamiliar with that concept.
I'm aware.
I'm
totally unfamiliar with that. Let me tell you a story. Hey, Jim, when did you get like that? Let me tell you a story. Let me take you back 44 years ago to the third date with this woman.
Huh.
We both are from rural Mississippi, right? So I got to drive 40 minutes to pick her up, to drive 20 minutes into town to go to the movie or to dinner, then take her back home, then drive 40 minutes. So I say to her, this is about date number 3, Teresa, be there at 6. I noticed on the first 2 dates, when I got there at 6, her mom would open the door. Hey, good to see you, Teresa. Jim's here. Oh, let me go get ready.
No, I don't think it was that. I was getting ready.
Let me tell the story.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I know.
This is exactly what I remember like it was yesterday. So about the third time this happened, because I'm not about pretending,
right.
And since this was bothering me, I said, T, we need to have a little talk. It was our first family meeting, even though we weren't a family. It was the first family meeting. Hey, Teresa, this is not working for me. What's not working for me? Hey, when I come here and you're not ready, I mean, I'm not mean. I'm not being mean. This bothers me. Being late bothers me. So I said, hey, date number 3, this is not working for me. Is this kind of how this is going to work? Because this could be a deal killer.
Oh, he didn't say all that.
That's exactly what I said.
No, he didn't say it like that.
How
But
do you remember?
I do.
How do you remember?
Yes, I do remember him bringing up the subject, and I thought, I do hear what you're saying, and I'll take care of it. Not a problem. I can do that. Because you know why?
Well, how do you remember her reaction?
Because I wanted to be with you. I enjoyed that.
But
going out.
See, therein lies the point. I wanted to be with you too, but I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna pretend. I'm not gonna smile when it ain't funny. I'm not gonna nod my head when I don't agree, because I'm not gonna pretend.
Okay.
So what we want to talk about today is why do y'all pretend when you're dating people? Okay. I'm not talking about...
Calm yourself, darling.
I was about to say, you going to let us talk about it, Dad?
Yes.
You're very passionate.
That's how we're here.
Very passionate about this topic.
I'm super passionate about this because I've seen it go wrong so many times. Okay, let me calm down. Okay, you go.
Yes, calm.
No, you finished what you were saying. It seemed like you had one.
That's all I was going to say. Why do you do that? Why do you pretend? Why do you act like it's okay? And here's what really bothers me. While you're dating, you pretend. Then when you get married, you stop pretending. And then you go like, it was bothering me all the time. I just didn't say anything. It's backwards. So I want us today to explore the damage of hiding emotion, needs, or identity in a relationship and how authenticity actually builds intimacy and trust. That's what we're talking about today.
Sounds great.
Okay, that's all I got to say.
Okay.
Well, actually, that's not true,
but yeah, that's a start.
That's a start.
Hey, I gotta be honest. I feel like I'm kind of guilty of this a little bit.
This is sad. My own daughter.
Not anymore. I was guilty. Let me say, again, I've learned a lot.
Let me say this. Now, I'm going to say, yes, I think everybody has a little bit of this.
A little bit of pretension, a little bit of lying, deceit. Call it what it is.
I don't think pretension's the same.
Exactly. No. I think we all pretend in some situations, scenarios. I think we do.
I think for some people, pretending can be a survival mechanism. It can be
a
defense.
a cover. She said a cover. a trauma response as well.
Could be.
I didn't actually think of mine as pretending, and maybe you guys will think differently about this, but in my experience, so I came to realize that I am what I like to refer to as, I was, okay? We have spent a lot of time learning and growing and trying to form new habits, but I was someone who would emotionally shapeshift. That's what I would call it. Emotionally shapeshift, meaning that, like, I don't know. It's like I'm so understanding. I can understand almost any perspective, and I can understand where somebody's coming from. And I would confuse that with, like, just because I can understand it, I must be okay with this. Is that the same thing as pretending?
I'm not sure I know what you just said.
No, I'm not sure.
So
It sounds like you're a chameleon. So yeah, that would be pretending.
Yeah.
do you have an example? You have an example?
She just gave one.
I mean, no, a specific example. She's got a point. Dad's got a point. I'm trying to, it's been so long.
Has it though? Can you actually reform?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Of course you can.
Once you become aware.
I was gonna say, once you become aware. Let me think of an example. I would think it's like, okay, speaking of people who I'm not compatible with or stuff going on in their family. Let's take my ex-husband, for example. We had very different family dynamics growing up, right? And there were like some issues that I did have with his sisters, but then it was like, as soon as I understood like why they were the way that they were, it's like, oh, okay, I can understand this. I can deal with this because I understood why they were acting out and things of that nature.
I need to amend my opening statement. I am not talking about, lest I was misunderstood, about not being understanding.
I know that.
About not being kind, about not being compassionate and considerate. That's 3 C words in a row. Kind, compassionate, considerate. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm just saying be who you are. And Teresa tells me I'm overly transparent. When we first started doing a podcast back in 2014, it wasn't video, it was just audio. And we were sitting at a round table just like this one back in Mississippi. And we'd be looking at each other and she would be going like, don't say it. Don't say it. Of course, nobody could see us because we weren't on camera. And I was like, hey, that's just making me say it worse. Now I'm going to say it 3 times.
Yeah.
So...
But that wasn't pretending.
No, that wasn't pretending, but I'm associating pretending or not pretending with transparency.
Okay.
Here, Authenticity.
Yeah, that's the word.
I think where my example's coming from, and the reason I felt like it was relevant here, is because I do think that growing up, I was a bit of a people pleaser. And I didn't think it was a bad thing. I do sometimes enjoy making people happy. Like that's something I enjoy, but I think it becomes people pleasing when you do that at a detriment to yourself.
Yes.
And in a relationship setting. Yeah. For some reason, like when it came to friendships, I'd be quick to cut people. I'd be like, all right, well, I don't think we're compatible as friends, so it's over and done. But I was so much more lenient in like romantic relationships. And I think part of that had to do with, honestly, I think growing up plus size. I think like the narrative at that time was like, if you want to have a relationship or you want somebody to love you, then you have to be in a smaller body. So I felt like, well, that's not me. So I kind of have to... I have to be smarter. I have to be better. I have to be, dressed better. I have to do all these things better because society's told me that because of the body that I'm in, I'm less likely to be in a romantic relationship. And so I think that's where the emotional shape-shifting / people-pleasing / chameleon came from.
Okay.
But I'm not sure I associate any of those things with pretending.
Really?
Well, a peacemaker or a peacekeeper is definitely a person who would.
Is a chameleon one of them?
It is chameleon. It's one.
A chameleon. Okay, that's changing, adapting. Well, I guess I'm phrasing in the form of a question. Is that changing, adapting who you really are to fit a particular situation?
Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing.
Well, no, I know this.
I think he's asking, is that what I was doing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, maybe things weren't as bad as I thought.
I just let me tell you why this is so frustrating to me, because I deal with this every day. So we work with couples. Teresa obviously is a therapist. She works with couples more than I do. I work with a lot of men individually, and this drives me crazy. For a man to be in a conversation with me or be in a session with me, and he go on and on and on about what his wife does, it irritates him. She's sitting right over there. Have you told her this? No, Jim, I haven't. I don't live with you guys.
Yeah.
Why are you telling me all this? Why would you at home nod your head and smile, and then, I know this is what therapy is, then go find a complete stranger, in some cases these are people that I know very well, and then tell them all the things that are frustrating you about your relationship that you haven't told the person who's frustrating you in the relationship. That's why this is just...
Well, that's what we're going to get into today.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
We're going to dive deep into today. So
Where
I
are we
think
going to start?
we're going to start with Mom's going to share some common masks that people wear when they are pretending. There's three really
There's
popular
three,
ones.
yes,
Oh,
there's
I'm
three
sorry.
common ones. There's three common ones. There's the peacekeeper, avoid conflict at all costs. And then you have the performer. So you only show the best version of yourself. And then there's the rescuer, an over-functioning to avoid being rejected at all. So those are some of the main three.
Okay, let's go back. I don't understand how peacekeeping is pretending.
We're going to get into it, Dad.
Oh, you're gonna.
We're going to go
Why don't I ever have a note?
Dad,
You do have the notes. You just don't read the
every
note.
week. He just is not.
Oh, okay.
Do you need your own iPad or something? I don't know.
No,
You got your phone in front of you.
No.
So let's go with peacekeepers.
Yeah, let's start there because I'm curious to understand more of what these are as well.
Avoid conflict at all costs. And let me just say this. A lot of times people will avoid conflict at all costs because maybe they grew up in that environment where they really did have to do that, so maybe someone wouldn't be disturbed.
Yeah.
However, they'll just say, I'm fine. Everything is good. But
And
yet,
I said, I'm definitely not that one. That's not me.
yeah. But then they're smiling on the outside, but they're building up resentment on the inside.
They're letting it fester.
Yes.
Oh, the worst.
And that is not good.
And then they blow up.
Are you about to go to the next one?
No, we'll stay on this one a little bit.
Let's stop right
I'm just
there.
trying to show you what that looks
Well,
like.
that's why I'm trying to dig a little bit deeper. So, I would classify as a peacekeeper.
I would say I am.
But-
Yes, I am.
But I'm not sure. I'd have to think about it. I'm not sure I've thought about you as a pretender. So you're associating a peacekeeper. Who doesn't like the peace? I like the peace.
I think the point
Right,
of
it's-
the detriment of pretending, what my mom is trying to say is
She's sitting
that
right there.
what she's trying to say, the reason, so somebody wanting to keep the peace is not inherently a bad thing.
Right.
But when you do it at a detriment to your own feelings, to
Yes.
your own relationship, then it becomes a bad thing. And that's why it's pretending. Because you're only keeping the peace. You're not actually feeling peace, but you're trying to keep the peace because you don't want to deal with conflict. That's when it's pretending.
And you don't want to. You fear rejection.
You fear rejection. That's why you keep the peace.
Yeah, that's why you are trying to keep the peace.
That's
you
why
don't
you feel-
want to be abandoned or somebody to see you a certain kind of way. So they kind of confuse harmony with good health, with a healthy relationship.
Oh, okay. I understand that. So yeah. Harmony is synonymous with all is good. But harmony, when you're suppressing things that are not harmonious,
Yeah.
that's not good.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the peacekeeper. Hey, is that any of you? Are you a peacekeeper? By the way, we want to hear from you. We want to hear your comments on these shows. So put it in the comments like, hey, Jim, in my relationship, I did this, or I wish I'd done that. I love to hear comments, read comments, and hear questions from you guys.
And I want to tell you the downside of that after you finish.
The downside of the peacekeeper?
Yeah, the downside.
Subscribing and sharing.
You did not.
Oh, let me pause
Yeah,
the
one
show.
job.
This
One
is super important. If this content is interesting to you and you think it's helpful, and we hope that it is, here's how you can help us help more people: by liking, subscribing, and sharing the podcast.
Yes.
The way it works is like the YouTube algorithm notices, oh, looks like a lot of people are liking, subscribing, and sharing. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to share this program with more people. Whereas the algorithm goes like, nobody's liked, shared, or subscribed, so therefore this show must not be worth sharing with anybody. So you really, really, really help us when you do that. We'd appreciate you doing that. Back to our regular schedule program. Where were we?
Mama's going to tell us the downside of the peacekeeper.
Right. Conflict avoidance prevents honesty and repair. So over time, you're suppressing your feelings over and over and over, but it can backfire, because then you become passive aggressive.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you're like there's an emotional disconnect, so that becomes a problem. So it's so very important that of course, we want to keep the peace. However, it doesn't need to be to the detriment of yourself.
So one form of pretending is a peacekeeper. I didn't see that initially, but I better understand the point. And you mentioned the fear of abandonment. Wow, that's some deep psychological baggage / history. I wonder what it is in my history, if you are to be believed, you two. I wonder what it is in my history that makes me, I want to be liked, but I'm less likely to pretend to be liked. I want to be liked for 100% of who I am. And I want you to see, back to our dating experience, I want you to see the 100% completely me, because part of what I'm thinking is, okay, if I'm pretending, I can't keep this up forever. So sooner or later, you're going to see the real me. And if I'm showing you a false me and you see the real me, why would I think that's going to create a problem? It reminds me, I used to play a lot of table tennis, ping pong.
You did
growing up. I mean, I had my whole little paddle. So here's what this reminds me of. Yeah, we used to have the ping pong table, but you guys never used it.
We did in the garage.
You guys never used it, so wow, you didn't follow in my footsteps. And
you didn't tell us this story. Maybe if I'd known, I would have tried to keep the legacy alive.
Wow. Well, here's the story.
Now we got to get a ping pong
One
table.
thing I learned about ping pong or throwing a tennis ball against a wall is this: the way the ball comes off the paddle determines where it ends up. So you can hit the ball 1,000 times exactly the same, and it'll respond exactly the same. You change one little thing, the whole trajectory of the ball, it has more spin on it. It goes over here instead of over there. Here's my point. When you become different, the person responding to you has something different to respond to, and therefore they respond differently. This is why pretending doesn't ever work. So you're out in a relationship 6 months, 6 years, it doesn't matter. I'm pretending, but it's not really me. Now, I can't pretend forever. So the minute I revert back to who I originally am, you start responding different because I give you something different to respond to. And now, for all I know, I'm sitting there going like, I can't believe how my wife has changed. I can't believe how my husband's changed. So pretending is just, are you not that comfortable with who you really are? Jim, if I show my true self, nobody would like me. Well, I don't think that's true unless you're like,
horrible.
Unless that's true. Yeah, I think that's true. Unless that's true. So anyway, does this make sense when I'm saying why I have trouble understanding pretending?
It does make sense. It makes sense why you have trouble understanding it. I think the curious question is maybe like what you said, how did you get to that point, right? Because what you said was, you said you do want to be liked, you do want to keep
everybody,
the peace.
I would think wants to be liked, yeah.
But I think that, again, the difference here is like not everybody, in your case, you want to be liked, but not if it means pretending to be something else. Not if it means that you like me for somebody that I'm not.
Right.
And I don't know if everybody makes that distinction. I think especially in like middle school, high school, especially like at that age, you just want to be liked. You don't want to be bullied. Right. You don't want to.
Right. And that's our whole society right now. That's how, that's what people look at with social media and everything. They're pretending to maybe be something that they're not, just to be accepted, just to be liked.
I think sometimes with social media as well, it may not be that a person is pretending to be something that they're not. Sometimes it is with the influencer. Mm-hmm. But in my case, I felt like, well, I can't show you everything. Like, I mean, you'd have to follow me around for 24 hours a day to know every single thing that goes on in my life. So I think it sometimes comes off like, you know, you usually see the highlights of people's lives. And I feel like we're getting away from that now.
It's gotten
more
better.
Relatable. Yeah, it's more relatable
it's gotten
content.
better.
It's more like day in the life every day. But before, I mean, the way that social media started is like you would show the best parts, the highlights. And so if you think about that became the standard of like, well, this is what I need to look like. This is what I need to act like. This is how how much money I need to make. When those things became the standard, well, then you do kind of start pretending because you want to be that person that has those things.
And that takes us right into number 2, the second person, the performer.
Number 1 was the peacekeeper.
Peacekeeper.
Okay. Number 2 is the performer.
The performer only shows the best version of themselves. Only shows the best, the best version. So what does this look like? The performer puts on a mask, and they're perfect, that perfection part, even though
that's a lie.
Oh, right, exactly. Always smiling, always capable, always together. They hide their struggles and their weaknesses. So they don't want to feel judged. Mm-hmm. They have the fear of being judged, and that is what is presented on social media a lot right now. In that they are performing, but young people maybe don't know that, or some, I guess, very naive person don't know that, and they are trying to attain that.
A lot of people,
becomes a problem.
I would say, especially with maybe like if you're at an impressionable age, then yeah, you wouldn't know that like this is an act. Not everybody, of course. And again, like I said, we're getting away from that in social media, where even me, like I'm sharing more about living at home and like how I felt about that and, the emotions surrounding that. So I've been sharing more of my life, but I think, yeah, people need to understand in general on social media, what you see is not everything, because it's impossible unless even if somebody's streaming 24 hours a day on Twitch, that doesn't mean that they're showing you, because they know a camera is on. So you're not going to ever see, you're not going to ever see everything. And you have to always understand that. Okay, let me say what I was going to say then before you share why they might do what they do.
Okay.
Because I find it interesting that I've actually had like guys I've dated before. I'll go back to my ex. It's a good example. He used to tell me, like, he'd be like, "You're so perfect. You're perfect." And I don't ever think, because I never felt that way. And I never felt like I was pretending to be something I wasn't. But I think maybe in his eyes, I don't know why he would say that, but because these conversations are even opportunities for us to learn and grow as we talk about things. So I'm listening to Mom say that, and I'm kind of like, was I performing back then?
Well, I'm going to say a lot of people perform, especially in different situations. I continue to say that. For instance, growing up in the South, there were certain things that how we carried ourselves. That was understood. And this is coming from a woman's perspective, and how you would teach your children to act and be. So yes, I did want you to be your best and try to strive for not perfection, but to strive to I guess what's another word besides perfection?
To be the best.
To be the best. To be
the best version of yourself. It's not to be the best. It's to be the very best
of yourself. Always be excellent.
Yeah,
that's what I like. Be excellent. So yes, there were certain things I think I maybe put in you.
I can see that,
to carry yourself a certain way. I did.
Pretending culture right under my nose.
Yes,
I had no idea.
Well, that's true, because I did want them to feel included in all of that. I wanted that,
but not at the risk.
But no, I didn't, and it wasn't an intentional act. That's the thing. I was trying to teach.
I find it interesting because I do think, and I don't know. Again, this might just be who you are, Dad, but I do think that you have an ability, like one thing I learned from you and from my older brother is they're like 100% themselves 100% of the time, and they can say things that I don't think anybody else can get away with saying.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so before Ellie moved from behind the camera to in front of the camera like she is now, a lot of our shows, were her stopping me.
In the beginning. So it's a learning curve.
Trying to mute me and make me be somebody else. Dad, I don't think you should say that. Dad, that comes across kind of gruff. Dad, that's too rough.
I don't think I ever said things came across rough. I kind of like policed you on some of the language that you use, the way that you said it, not what you said.
I'm not using bad language. What do you mean?
It was the way that you would say things. It was never what you said. I would never tell you not to say something.
But here's the point I'm making. And here's what I said to Ellie. I said, hey, I'm not interested in doing this show. I'm not an actor. I'm not interested in doing the show. Okay. I just want to get on here and be me. Hey, hopefully it'll help people. People will like it. And I'm not saying you were saying that, but I'm not trying to be something else. I don't have a podcast gym and a sitting around a go to church gym and then a sitting in the basement watching football gym. I just got one guy. Mm-hmm. Right? And I like to be genuinely, authentically me. I'm not purposely trying to offend anybody, but if you happen to get offended, that's on you. We're talking about pretending. So on the opposite side of that, the opposite of pretending is being authentically you. And I guess I just really, really like being authentically me. Now, hey, I look at my past. Maybe.
But you know what you do, though, that you maybe, and I don't think this makes you any less yourself, but what I was doing behind the camera was trying to get you to maybe speak with more compassion on certain things or say things in a way that people will be receptive to.
That's right.
That's a good
And so
point.
That's different. And I feel like you do that.
That is a good point because you said, like, one thing I used to say all the time, and I still say it, but I've been coached differently. I used to say all the time, because I think it to be true, is marriage is hard. Mm-hmm. Not bad. Hey, starting a business is hard. Starting a podcast is hard. Writing a book is hard. So I don't equate hard with bad. Jamil Jackson, she said to me, hey, Jim, I think that could turn a lot of people off when you say marriage is hard. Why don't you start saying marriage is hard work?
I do like the distinction, but I also think that saying marriage is hard, maybe it should turn people off. Everybody don't need to be married, or people need to know exactly what they're getting into when they get married.
But when did hard become a negative? When is that where we are now?
It does appear to be that way right now in our society. Nobody really wants hard. They want things to be comfortable and
It's not because it's negative.
No,
it's not.
It's
because it's negative. I think it's because it's effort.
Effort, yeah.
And people are like, everybody's very much about like, I have to be conscious of like where my energy is going.
Yeah,
I want to do things that are good for my nervous system.
Yeah.
And
I've never actually heard anybody say that.
Okay, on social all the time.
Like I say, I'm just
sure
saying,
I'm not doing something that's going to raise my cortisol levels. Like, everybody is very
I don't even know
conscious.
what that means.
Cortisol is like stress. It denotes stress within your body. It can cause an array of issues that it does mean there are certain things that they're not willing to put up with. And this is why, I think I said this on the previous episode, why you have this situation now where if I'm sharing something with a friend,
you did
right?
say that.
Yeah, they feel like it's trauma dumping or it's an inconvenience to them. And I think it's like you want someone to be fully baked, or you want somebody to be fully like self-aware and complete in their growth before you're willing to engage or quote unquote put up with them. And I think that is a sad thing that is going on in our society today. I just don't think that that's how relationships work, whether it's romantic or platonic.
Yeah, and growth is a process.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't just jump to growth or, to maturity.
And I mean, it's great if you want to be honest with yourself about not wanting to be there for that person's growth, but I just think
I would check the friendship.
I just
I would
don't
check
think
it.
It's not a way to engage with people.
So they're craving approval and validation.
I like that. I mean, I think most people like that.
But the partner bonds with the role instead of the real person. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure.
Leaving the performer feeling unseen and lonely.
You personally like your own facade.
No, the partner bonds with the performer, not like the person that you've put on. Sorry, the partner bonds with the role that you've been playing, not with who you actually are. And of course, to your point, like you said earlier, you can't keep that up forever.
That's right. So the downside would be the relationship stays surface based, and I can talk to a couple and I'll say, you know, guys, we're on the surface. This is not what's actually happening here. So we got to keep talking so we can get to the really core of what actually is going on in the relationship. I can hear it because they're talking about he did this or she did that, and I'm thinking, well, okay,
you're like, that's so small.
That's small. Yeah, that's not it. Yeah, that's not the real issue. So yes, then it becomes, it's
Does
like
that couple realize that they're talking only surface issues, or they think they're having deep, meaningful conversations?
No, they really think those are I guess they really do think
like,
those are the issues.
I need this to stop doing this, and then I'll be totally fine. Or I just need them to start doing this, and they'll be totally fine.
And that's not going to be it. It's something deeper. Yeah.
And the only reason I know this, because I'm not a therapist, only reason I know this is because I have a really good friend, and I just feel like very blessed to have like great friends around me who like challenge me and who ask me difficult questions, and who are honest with me. And one thing that she is always focused on in her marriage is she's like, I want to make sure if I'm gonna like have, and she'll say fight, or disagreement, argument, but it's not a negative thing, right, to her. So she'll say, I just want to make sure that I'm having the right conversation with him. Like, I want to make sure I'm addressing the real issue, and not the, oh, well, you don't do this or you didn't do that. It's not about you not doing those things. It's about like when you do these things, it makes me feel like you value me or you respect me or you care about my feelings or whatever it is. It's always something deeper.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That reminds me, do you have relationships? This is an earlier episode. Do you have relationships? Do you have friends that are comfortable telling you the truth?
Oh, yeah.
Or have you trained your friends, back to the people you said they feel like it's trauma dumping?
Yeah.
Or have you trained your friends, there's something to think about, they can't tell you the truth? What do you mean train them? So when I come to you with a heart-to-heart, either you're dismissive, you start making excuses, you attack me, all of that trains me that I can't come to you with the truth.
I want to add a third option in there because I do feel like this may be what happened in my marriage, like part of what led me to get married, because I didn't know that this happened. But my parents were, I say this with like lightly, but they were vehemently against me getting married to this man. And again, not because he was a bad person.
I like him a lot.
Yeah,
I think
there was a language barrier. I speak Spanish and French. He speaks Spanish and French, so there wasn't a language barrier between us.
And he doesn't speak English.
And he doesn't speak English. But so I felt like, well, you guys just don't know him. And I didn't know this. Mom actually went to two of my close friends, and she was like, why are you letting Ellie do this? Why are you not saying something? Why are you not trying to stop her? And the third thing that I would like to add in here, because I didn't even know this, and I'm actually surprised that they didn't come to me. And I think that if you look at who I was in middle school and high school, I don't think you could have come to me. But these are people who I've known since preschool. So the point that I'm making is sometimes we do not let the people closest to us, our friends, grow, or we don't recognize that growth. So at that time, I do think I would have been receptive if they came to me and they expressed those concerns, but they didn't because of who I was before. So sometimes you have to retrain your friends. Or I guess,
or let them know that you've grown and you're different.
Be more vocal about your growth so that they can feel comfortable coming to you with things.
Or go ahead and step into it and say, I'm going to try it. Anyway, I'm going to tell her.
Oh, yeah. Or just try it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to try it. I'm going to see.
I would agree
she
with that.
might not agree with me, but I'm going to do my part and I'm just going to tell her.
But, so many people, especially when it comes to relationships, and I think this is probably how some people do react. I have another friend who, he was like, hey, I don't ever want to say anything bad about your relationship. Like if I point out something, like he'll kind of co-sign, okay, yeah, no, you saw that. That's true. I agree with that. But I don't think that he'll say something just off bat off rip rather, because he doesn't want to be like, if we end up fixing things and then getting married, he doesn't want to be that friend that said something negative about your spouse. So there are a lot of dynamics that play with it, but Again, I don't know that I'd be the person to be like, well, you said this thing and now we're not friends because I'm marrying this person. I don't think it'd be like, hey, maybe you were right, maybe you're wrong. I don't know, but I'm not going to hold anything against you.
Well, good. Okay. So we talked about the peacemaker, the performer, and now we're going to talk about the rescuer. Overfunctions to avoid.
That's not a P word. You just went from P to R.
Dad.
And you're interrupting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The
Wow.
The rescuer.
It's going down the alphabet, though.
The overfunction.
Oh, no, Q is up.
Oh, my gosh. You didn't even learn the basic alphabet. How did you get a master's? The rescue.
You know, something had to go.
The
I only have a finite amount of space in my brain.
The peacemaker, the performer,
the rescuer. You trying to come up with a P word?
I was trying to come up with a P word, but keep going.
And the rescuer, kind of.
I'm sorry, Mom. Go ahead.
Yes, I can't seem to get this out. I can't seem to get this out.
The rescuer.
Okay. Overfunctions to avoid being rejected. What does this look like?
Okay, tell me.
It takes care of everyone else's needs while ignoring their own. Mm-hmm. They're the problem solver, fixer, and sacrificer, always on call. And I'm going to say most moms are there.
I was about to say
most moms are there.
I'm not
we
saying
have
this
to
is you.
for a period of time. No, I admit it. I truly admit it. We have to. We be it. That's why I say I believe we've been in these roles, all of us,
at some point
in our lives.
I believe that.
But you don't stay there.
Depending
you do
on the
what you have to
setting.
do. Yeah, you do what you have to do, but then you don't stay there, and you don't continually to not recognize your own self.
And I think to your point, when it comes to a romantic relationship, you shouldn't feel like you have to be there.
Exactly, all the time.
Yeah. I think in certain settings, yes, it can be a protection, right? Again, a survival mechanism to pretend. Mm-hmm. But in a relationship, you should never have to feel like you have to pretend.
All the time.
Dad, you look like you want to say something.
No, I'm just thinking about, hey, the thing is, we don't go over what we're going to say, so I'm hearing this for the first time. So I'm literally just...
Because he didn't read the outline.
It's not important why I'm hearing it. So I'm literally just processing what you guys are saying. You know, do I agree with it? What can I learn from it? Do I see myself in it? How can I get better? So no, I'm just thinking. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just thinking. Peacemaker, performer,
Rescuer. I don't have another P word. You can ask ChatGPT really quick for another P word.
No, that's okay.
Audience, is there another P? Peacemaker, performer, something that starts
I'm
with
big
a P?
on the alliteration.
Yeah.
The
rescuer, but a P.
The 3 P's of pretending. That should have been 4 P's. Pretending, performer. Okay.
So those are the top 3, but because I read the outline.
So why do they do this?
Why does the rescuer?
Yes.
Oh yeah, tell us that. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good question.
They fear if they stop rescuing and they won't be loved or needed. And that.
Wait a minute.
Well, listen.
Rescue.
Their worth becomes tied too much in what they do for others. Now that's the negative side of that for sure.
I've seen people like this.
But
I've seen people like this, and to your point, again, we've all been in this situation at some point. But I have seen people like this, and as someone who has been the receiver of that, it can be exhausting.
Yeah, I can say that. I can say that.
How the rescuer is, because what we're talking about is pretending. So
because nobody can
sustain that.
Yeah, nobody can sustain that. That's why it's pretending.
It wears you out.
Like what Mom said, even as a mother, she did that.
When I think of pretending, I think of intentionally putting on a facade, like putting on a mask. It's like playing a role. But when I hear rescuer, that's almost more, what's the opposite of reactive? Instead of being...
Proactive?
That would be the opposite, I guess. But instead of being... That's who you really are. I mean... Right?
Oh, so you're saying that seems like their character.
Yeah. So you said yourself, hey, I think all moms at some point become a rescuer.
Right. I think we do, but
they really are a rescuer.
I think it comes down to, again, that intention, and then are you doing this to the detriment of your well-being? Because I do think that we'll use mothers in this case again. I do think that a lot of mothers can do that to the detriment of themselves, their relationship.
Yeah, you don't want to keep it up.
Yeah, you don't want to keep it up. it makes sense for a certain period of time because, I mean, you have to do everything for a baby, for example. Like, I mean, they don't have any... they can't do for themselves, so you kind of have to rescue them at any.
And going back to the relationship, a healthy love doesn't require constant rescuing.
But because I did read the outline, there are some other non-common ones.
Okay, we can
that
touch
I
on
wanna
those
just
first.
touch over.
Okay,
I want to touch on.
All right.
Okay, so a few other ones that they're not as common, but they're out there and you need to be aware of them.
Okay, tell me.
There is the strong one. Never shows weakness, hides emotions, and pretends they have it all together.
All together.
Yeah, that's one, okay? The chameleon, who said maybe this is me, right?
Right.
Adapts personality. Oh, okay, well, maybe it's not. Hold on. The chameleon adapts personality, opinions, or preferences to match whoever they are with.
Sometimes.
I think I do that.
Well, maybe you did.
Maybe I did. I say maybe I did.
now.
I don't think I ever did opinions, but I do think like the personality and preferences, I was like, well, I could deal with this. I could put up with this.
Yeah.
You know, like that way. So yeah, that's the chameleon. So we have the strong one, the chameleon. The comedian uses humor, sarcasm, or jokes to deflect pain, fear, or vulnerability.
And if you see any comedians and you look behind there, it's always there.
They are kind of doing that. I agree with that. They are doing that.
They're always there.
I think comedians, like to be a comedian, I think you have to have quite an interesting life, but sometimes, maybe a lot of pain and fear and things in that life.
They have had a rough
things
rough
interesting.
time.
Yeah. Or that make things that you're able to turn into something that is comedic for other people because it's very relatable.
Right.
So
that's good. That's a positive part of it.
It's a positive
They are coming out of it with their comedy.
Yeah.
With their funniness.
Like
yeah, I do too.
So yes, there are. There's two more. So we've got, the other ones, the strong one, the chameleon, the comedian, the achiever, focuses on success, performance, or productivity to earn worth or validation.
And you'll see a lot of people who will do that. They are very successful, but they are definitely being pushed by the fear of failing.
Yeah. Yeah, they're away motivated, they call it.
Yeah.
I don't want to fail, so they keep just going, because they don't want to get back to where they were away motivated.
Right.
Have you heard that?
I've heard that. Actually, I of all the things we've talked about, I most identify with that. I have traits of that in me. Reminds me of a story. I didn't know I was going to tell the story. I would have reread it to familiarize myself with it. But basically, the gist of the story is this. A very, very wealthy individual was a workaholic. And a friend of his approached him and said, "You've got everything that money could buy. Why are you such a workaholic?" And he said, I never really thought about it. He said, growing up as a little boy, I grew up in a trailer on a dirt road. And I remember when I left home to go off to college with everything I had, basically in my suitcase, I vowed that I would never return to living like this. And he said, which is a great point of self-reflection, he said, you know what? I guess even 50 years later and a multimillionaire, I'm still that little boy walking down that dirt road running from that trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I that did drive me because growing up, in the 60s and 70s, especially as an overweight kid, I think one of the things why I am like I am about this is I don't think I grew up. Now, my parents were so kind and so encouraging.
Oh, yes, I love them.
And
They're
so
encouraging,
sweet. And you can do anything. Hey, but the rest of the people, they were very cruel and unkind, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I know, like right now, do they even call it being fat anymore? That's what they call it for me.
They still say it. I think maybe it's not as accepted as it was, but
so I don't know what to call it now. But growing up as a fat kid, people are cruel.
Yeah,
people are cruel.
People,
Kids
oh my
cruel.
gosh, were cruel. And I think you can go a couple of different ways. I'm going to try to make everybody like me, or the way I went, hey, since they don't like me anyway, I'm not going to try harder. I'm just going to say I don't care.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what started me on the path that I'm on.
And I think what's different about because I don't think it's healthy if you're like, I don't care, but then you actually do. But I think you actually don't care.
So
you actually don't care.
but what
and I'm going to say he actually doesn't care about certain things. I'll say that because he is
you don't
a
have to
very
defend me.
caring. I know I don't have to, but he's a very caring person, and he would do a lot and do whatever he needs to do to help somebody else. However, you're right. Sometimes you have to turn that off. That was you setting a boundary so
Yeah.
that you didn't keep getting hurt.
Yeah. So the achiever, as we're going down the list, is something that I identify with. That became my response, if you will.
Yeah. And you'll see that, in a lot of NBA players, all of that, they just can't go back. I mean, I think, the story with Shay Shay. He was talking about, he and his brother were talking that time and how they just weren't going to ever, not that they didn't like their environment or whatever, but it was difficult and they wanted to come away from that and make the life better. And they did. They actually did. And they were talking about it. I thought that was so wonderful. But yeah, you'll see a lot of people doing that over the top achieving because that's something that's driving them,
Okay. What's the next one? Elizabeth?
So the last one.
one.
So, okay, we've given 8 total, right? So 8 total types of pretenders: the peacekeeper, the performer, the rescuer, the strong one, the chameleon, the comedian, the achiever, and the last one is the victim. So they play helplessness, avoid responsibility, emphasize how badly they've been treated. I don't know if he was pretending, but I think this was the guy that I just broke up with, that I was dating, and that I just broke up with. It was like there was always something. Like it was all again. That's probably not him pretending, but it was always a reason why something happened. There was no responsibility, like no accountability for his actions. It's like, well, I'm just having a hard time adjusting, or I'm just this happened, or hey, I had to work, or this and that.
You're right.
And all those things are true, but they don't change that you need to be accountable for how these things made me feel. Your lack of action, right? In certain areas, other areas.
And it's so easy just to take responsibility to say, I just didn't want to do this, or I don't like that, or just be real.
People,
that would help. But people they
avoid
want to
conflict.
play.
Going back to the first one, the performer, or the peacekeeper.
Peacekeeper.
Avoiding conflict.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, while we circle back to that, let me just share something about avoiding conflict, just in case anybody's thinking, "Hey, Jim, who wouldn't want to avoid conflict?" In our book, our chapter on conflict, we actually call it "Caring Enough to Embrace Conflict."
Yes.
Now, I don't like conflict any more than anybody else, but you know what I really like? I like getting things settled once and for all. So I've adopted the approach that, as painful as it is now, you've heard that people are going to deal with 2 pains.
The pain of regret, or the pain of staying. What is it? The pain of staying this. I don't know. You tell me.
So I've actually blamed.
There's a couple of them.
It's the pain of discipline,
Okay.
or the pain of regret.
Okay.
So when I come to that approach in a relationship, I'm going to deal with the pain of thinking I'm avoiding conflict, but actually it's only delaying an inevitable that's probably going to be bigger than it would have been had it been dealt with right now.
Yeah.
So, and I see that all the time, especially with guys I work. I've had guys say to me, "Hey, Joe," not his real name, back to them telling me stuff that they don't tell their own spouses, right? Why don't you say this? I mean, why don't you have the conversation with your wife about this? "Hey, Jim, I think it's going to cause so much conflict." And I've had several guys say this to me. "I don't want to end up not married."
Wow.
I literally, this is a true story. "I don't want to end up not married, so I don't say certain things because, in their mind, because I'm saving my marriage."
But then to something else that you say, Dad says, "Who wants to be married and miserable?" So now they're miserable because they feel like they can't say something.
These guys I'm thinking about are actually miserable.
I guess
there's some resentment that being built there.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then it's also breaking the trust between them.
Well, here's the thing I would say about not being miserable. You know what gets in the way of people having a great marriage?
Yeah, you've told us that many times. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. You said that many times.
A good marriage is the enemy of a great marriage. Hey, Jim Collins said that in his book, Good to Great, one of my favorite books, by the way. But
No, continue.
But yeah, so I think these people are thinking my marriage is not that bad, or my marriage might not even be bad at all. But the thing about us is what we wanted was a great marriage, like a miraculous marriage, not just a good marriage.
A Super Bowl marriage.
Thank you, a Super Bowl marriage. So when I said to Teresa, hey, we need to go to marriage conference, by all accounts, our marriage was good, but I didn't ever sign up for a good marriage.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go back to, I guess, conflict and confronting a partner. I want you to think of it as I'm confronting this person to help them. I'm not trying to hurt you. My ultimate goal is to help you. So I have to say this so that we can continue to grow in our relationship, and I can let you know this. Get it off my heart.
Well, I have to share another one of my phrases
Oh my God.
that I say often.
Hey, it's marriage with Jim and Teresa. I didn't know you had any phrases to share.
Hey, I have quite a few. You're not the only one who reads books and develops phrases that they like. So we are talking about reframing the way that you think about conflict, right? That's kind of what we're getting at. And one phrase that I love to say that I think helps people understand the benefit of engaging in conflict or embracing conflict, like your book says, is conflict is an opportunity to deepen connection.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Sounds great. I like it.
What do you think?
I think that's really good. I mean, I've never heard you say it. But yeah, matter of fact, I think we probably got that in the book. That's probably my thing that you took. Conflict is a way to deepen connection.
Because if you think about it, it's like, I'm sharing what bothered me. Right. Yes, I'm sharing what bothered me. Right. You share what bothered you. And then we understand each other more. Whether it's like, I feel like I overreacted because, you know, like an example. Oh, an example that y'all talked about in your marriage. Okay, Mom, you felt like when y'all were first getting married and you had to go to Dad for money.
Yes.
And so the way that Mom came to you about that, I don't know if this is how it happened initially, but y'all got to this point where Mom said, the reason I don't like it is because it makes me feel the way that I felt with my dad, where I had to go, it makes me feel like a child. I had to go to my dad and ask him for money. Yeah. And so if you had not had that conflict, you would have probably never learned that about Mom.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Excellent. Yes.
Yeah, listen when y'all talk.
You know, a funny story about conflict, because we talk so much about relationships and marriage, and we want to start doing more parenting stuff at some point. You know, an interesting story about you. Hey,
okay,
you the one saying you want me to tell stories. You want me to be transparent. So, all
right, let's hear it.
Okay, so Elizabeth, as a child, didn't get into a lot of trouble. She was a child, and we do a whole show about spanking and corporal punishment. It's not your first go-to. You know, you don't do it in anger. There's a whole way to handle. Because some parents, I bring it up because some parents now are like, we don't use corporal punishment, and I think it's because it had there's such negative connotations around it because it wasn't done right. So but hey, we use corporal punishment. So.
I mean, you don't even know we're all adults now.
But. Yeah, and a lot of times I thought about using capital punishment, but that's a whole other story.
That's horrible.
But Elizabeth, who probably got less spankings than any of our 4 children.
I'd like to qualify that I am the youngest of 4.
You are the youngest of 4.
And I learned from other people's mistakes.
But here's what I would say about you. 2 things about how we would handle conflict. This is parent-child. So when Elizabeth would get in trouble, she would say, Daddy, and it was just so funny, Daddy, I don't want a spanking. I don't want a spanking, Daddy. And I would say, okay, Elizabeth, and like she is the youngest, so by then I was a much better dad, right? Mm-hmm. So I would ask her 3 questions. Hey, Liz, did Dad explain to you why this was wrong? Yes, Dad, you did, because if I didn't, that's on me. Did Dad explain to you, what was the first thing I said?
What was wrong?
Well, did Dad explain to you why this was wrong?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've forgotten the questions now. This is why
I start telling stories. We're all adults now.
So, did Dad
and I'm going to be honest, I probably forgot the questions because of the...
Did Dad explain why this was wrong? Did Dad explain the consequences?
Yeah, the consequences,
Did it? But it led to this. Because she was like, I don't want a spanking, Daddy. And then I would say to her, based on those questions, I thought there were 3, but I can only remember 2.
I feel like there were 3, and I only say that because you like 3s, so you probably
did Dad
had a third
explain,
question.
this wrong? But let's get to the story. So
Did you do what Dad? That was probably the second question. Did Dad explain Did Dad explain? Did
Why
Dad
this
explain
would
the rules?
happen?
Did you explain the rules or something
Did
like
I
that?
explain the consequences?
Yeah.
But here's the end thing, and the point I want to get to about the importance of conflict when handled right. So then I would say to her, well, hey, Elizabeth, based on these answers, I've done my job. It's not like I'm spanking you. It's like you're spanking yourself.
I used to hate hearing that.
So really, there's nobody to blame but you. But that's not even the story I want to tell. Here's the story I want to tell. After Elizabeth got a spanking, as far as I know, it wasn't many, but every spanking in her entire life, after she got the spanking, you know what she would do? She would come hug me.
What?
You would. You would come hug me.
I need to unpack this. I feel like as my younger self has betrayed me.
And here's what I think was going on. I thought about this a lot over the years because you did it all the time. Here's what I think was going on. Hey, Dad, I see you're disappointed in me. Now, you didn't say any of this, right? But I see you're disappointed in me. I see I've let you down. But we're still good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
that does sound like me.
That's what I think was going on because it would be like, she just got a spanking.
Yeah.
And she would hug me and kiss me. And I think she was...
But you know what?
So conflict, if properly handled, because I wasn't mad and yelling and screaming and hitting her with anything. That's a whole nother story about how to properly discipline a child when it comes to that, which is not your first thing to go to. But to me, that summarizes or cements the whole idea that as a child in a very uncomfortable situation, nobody likes to get punished, right? But the way the conversation went, making the point about conflict can lead to deeper connection. That's probably where you learned that. And that I probably gave you that
all
saying.
of this was so you could take credit for my statement. It's not a competition.
It's not a competition.
Well, everything is a competition.
I know this was the case with me, but I'm just going to throw this in here because I like to consider multiple perspectives.
Okay.
Some people might consider that to be Stockholm Syndrome.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, no.
I see what you're trying to do.
I just throw
I
it
see
in
what
there.
you're trying to do.
I don't think that was the case.
No, I don't
probably
think-
would.
I don't
I
think
did
that
want
was
to
the
reconcile things, and you might have felt it was like, are we good? But in my people pleasing nature, it was probably me being like, I want him to know that we are good. I don't want him to.
Well, and the other thing is like, I mean, based on the whole conversation, hey, the reason you're getting in trouble is because of you. I didn't like walk in the house and like put you in trouble. Did I explain why this was wrong?
I might also offer the reason I got in trouble a lot of times was because of my other siblings.
Wow. That's not taking any ownership.
You're taking.
I made the choices, but their influence, I was an impressionable young girl.
Okay, so what was the last one that we covered?
The victim was the last one, which is what I was playing in that very moment. Okay. So we've talked about the different kinds of masks that people wear. You've heard some really great examples to my detriment, but that's okay. And now we're gonna talk about how to start unmasking. How do you take those masks off? Are we gonna talk about how you identify when people are wearing masks?
Well, you want to identify which one of those
You're wearing. Okay.
Yes, and then from there we're going to begin to look at the real person to
like how you can show up as your authentic self.
Yes, how to do that. So, in a safe and in a safe way.
Does that mean, because this is something I hear with dating these days about how people pretend, and I do hear this complaint more from women, but that might also be because I'm a woman and that's what I typically see a lot online, is that a lot of times they feel like whoever they're dating is very good at pretending to be something that they're not. So are you saying that it can be difficult to identify when someone else is pretending? So that's why we're focusing on
yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But you just made a comment. You said a lot of people when they're dating, they say to themselves and their friends, I feel like she is pretending.
That's not what I said.
Well, okay. That's okay.
I think the way that they share it is that in retrospect, It's like I thought this person.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought this person was
'cause I
somebody
was about
that
to
they
say.
clearly weren't because they did this bait and switch. The switch up.
Okay. Now I understand what you're saying because I was like, why would you keep going forward if you feel like the person was pretending? But you mean with the benefit of hindsight?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So,
and there are no ways that we can help people see that.
I think the only thing is what we said in the previous episode: discernment, time, seeing people in different situations. There's no shortcut to finding the right partner. And we live in a world where instant gratification is a thing. Like we get that from social media. We get that from so many sources now where we expect that. But I've come to learn just as I've gotten older, there's no shortcut to finding the right partner. There's no quick and fast way to do it.
Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you think women are more impressionable than men when it comes to dating? And do you think men are the bigger pretender offenders more so than women?
Pretender offenders.
So to the first question, I would say I think it can be men and women. I think both can be impressionable in dating.
I agree.
But to the second question,
Be careful.
I know, but the reason I have to say that I do think it is mostly men who are the bigger pretender offenders is because there's just even in my own experiences, like I might be sharing too much here, but we said we were going to be open and honest.
There's no such thing as sharing too much.
Yes,
Now,
it is.
one of my siblings, I will not name who, he's married now, but he told me growing up, he was like, first of all, he told me, get off the dating apps because we are trash, is what he would say. And the second thing he said was like, I remember, this is hindsight. He was like, I remember being in high school, college. He was like, I was lying to girls. I was actively lying to girls. And it's because, you want something from that person. And so I feel like because men want affection, sex, whatever it is, I think that they can sometimes be the bigger pretender offenders because they just want one thing. And I remember being during the pandemic, I was in Clubhouse. Y'all remember Clubhouse? I feel like Clubhouse has really fallen down, but that's another conversation. But I was in those Clubhouse chat rooms and I would hear men talk about how like, why would I tell you all that I want from you is sex? You're not going to give it to me. And so it's like you're admitting that you're lying to this person.
Okay. I totally agree with you that men are the bigger pretender offender things when dating to get the one thing that they want. But I don't think, I actually don't know this to be true, but I'm not sure that guy who's pretending offending to get sex from a woman actually has any plans of marrying that person. So I don't know that they're pretending to convince you to marry them.
No, I don't think it's just.
Was that your question?
No, that
wasn't.
wasn't.
Yeah, that wasn't your
But it's
question.
like, okay, I'm almost willing to not accept, but acknowledge that, and I'm not to be hard on men, but yeah, you're dating in a relationship. That's not true. Some men will say, do, not say, not do anything they can to get what they want.
Yeah.
In that relationship, in the context of that relationship.
And women.
Well,
I guess them being.
First of all, women don't have to say and lie and pretend to get sex.
Yeah, I think
Well,
that's
for the most part.
okay, well, you were being specific on just sex. Okay.
Yeah.
So I get that
offended.
men have the reputation of doing that, but
I'd have an example for
how
women.
how did you end up married to that guy?
I don't think you asked the question
That's
about
what I'm saying.
marriage.
If
You
you're
didn't bring
trying
it
to
up.
bring-
About dating and men being the bigger pretender offenders.
You said
In dating.
dating.
Yeah.
Dating.
So then I follow up with
But you're
most
assuming they
people
got
will
married to that person.
Yeah, because in a lot of instances they did. So how did you end up getting married to that person?
Well, I mean, I guess I'll use my own example, it wasn't, I don't feel like how do I say, not in the context of sex, I will say, or like he pretended or lied in that regard. But I do feel like the person that came to the U.S. was not the person that I met in Switzerland.
Yeah, but I think you've already answered part of the whole question. The person came to the U.S. I talked to you earlier about
What changed. Okay, fine.
So he's in a country where his ability to speak Spanish and French is not, as far as I know, restricting him in any way.
Yeah.
He comes over here where he doesn't speak English. that's a big deal.
Okay.
He's not
fair.
the same person.
Yeah. So then that's not a good example. But to your question, how did they end up married to that person?
I don't see that.
I don't see
You
that.
don't see that they married the person.
Right.
Yeah.
Really?
That's not their goal.
Dating.
That's not their goal. The goal is not marriage.
I'm not talking about the guy.
The goal.
I'm talking about the girl.
But you just, I mean, so a saying that I hear, so I guess somewhat popular, guys are the gatekeepers to marriage. So if you're talking about the guy as the bigger pretender offender in dating, then he most likely wouldn't have married that person that he was pretending with.
Right.
So I don't think, I don't know that we can answer that question.
Okay.
Now, if you want an example that I hear from guys about women being pretender offenders,
Tell me.
the example would be, and again, this was a friend who did this. They would lie to guys about their interest to get free meals. Like to go out, like get free dinner or, and this was more like she was in college at the time, maybe fresh out of college. So
A sugar daddy.
I mean, I don't know if it was that to that extent, but it's like he likes me. He wants to take me out to dinner. Yeah, I could use a free meal right now. Let's go.
Well, why did you need to lie and pretend if I want to take you out to dinner?
No.
Because they're not actually interested in that person.
Right.
Oh, so
They're just
not
doing
pretending
that.
about other stuff. They're pretending about their interest
In that person. Yeah,
okay.
because they just want the dinner or the access
That's
or whatever
That's
it is.
just a sugar. That's just a
I
sugar.
gave you
hateful.
I wanted
That's
to keep
just-
this as balanced as possible.
That's
so I had
just.
to find an example for
That's an
women.
old sugar daddy.
I would
Have
say
no intentions of being with this person, but they're giving me something. It's a benefit.
I don't know. I feel like sugar daddy is very like specifically defined. Just because he takes you out to dinner, I feel like there's a lot of other things.
Yeah, they do provide
Provide
other
other
things. Okay.
I will say one last thing. Another thing that I think that men will say women pretend about, and this isn't all men, but some men will say women pretend about their looks.
Well, of course.
The shapewear, the makeup, the
eyes,
wigs,
the
whatever.
wigs. Yeah.
You don't know what shapewear is?
I don't
The way
understand. Women, you say women pretend about their. Repeat it.
I said some men might consider this to be pretending by women, wearing wigs,
Oh,
the level
okay,
of makeup
now I
that they
follow-
wear,
I follow
wearing
you. I
shapewear.
follow you.
Right.
You know,
they don't
things
see
of
the.
that sort.
Yeah. They
they
don't see
feel
all
like
that.
that could be
unpack
pretending.
that. Some men consider that pretending. Is it? Now,
That's enhancing.
Here's the tricky thing. You always want to put your best foot forward.
Right. So that's
Yeah.
You always want to
enhancing.
put your best foot forward.
But I guess that could lead to being the performer, where you always put your best foot forward.
And he doesn't get
That's
to see
the
that other
distinction.
true person.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's the difference.
y'all remember
Okay.
a different world when Dwayne and Whitley got married? Of course you do. So, you remember how Whitley, when they first got married, every morning would jump out of bed
bed.
before Dwayne got
Yeah,
up,
she
and
would.
brush her teeth and
put-
put her makeup on and do her hair
Yeah.
and get back in bed.
Uh-huh.
And then Dwayne would wake up and go like, oh my gosh, how can you wake up looking so beautiful every morning? Okay, that's pretending.
Yeah, I would agree. That's pretending.
But now, the fact that you actually comb your hair and brush your teeth and put makeup on,
It's not
that
pretending.
ain't pretending.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree.
That's enhancing. I got it.
I just wanted to give. I don't agree with it, but I wanted to give another example.
Okay. So going forward.
Okay,
So we were talking about how to unmask. So what
Right.
was the first step was naming it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Finding out, acknowledging which one you are,
Yeah.
and then safe, honest in micro moments. You're not trying to rip off the bandage.
So
completely.
the second one is
Safe, honest, like micro moments of
Safe,
change.
honest, micro moments of
Change.
Okay,
Yes.
so the second one
you don't
is-
want to just rip off the mask completely all at once. You want to take and practice small acts of honesty.
Wait,
Yeah,
are
I
you
have to
talking
say-
about the pretender or the person who recognizes?
we're talking about the
any of them.
pretender.
Well,
no,
really-
you said this was about the pretender.
So the pretender wants to try to help themselves in safe micro moments and not try to rip off the mask all at once. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess that is the general mindset. Yes.
So
The
I
pretender in general, whether you're whichever one you are, you're still a pretender. So yes, that's
when
right.
we talk about how to unmask, we have the first thing, which is naming it. The second thing is practicing honesty in micro moments.
Yes,
and I think
that's it.
that is about what I said on the previous episode, which is that you can have this newfound self-awareness and you have a new boundary or a new goal or a new mindset, but it takes time for your habits to catch up. So as not to overwhelm yourself and to contribute to you actually completely removing that mask, it's good to practice that honesty in safe environments and a little bit at a time.
Sounds good.
That's what I understood from that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then you want to invite your partner to meet the real person.
What does that look like, though?
The real
That's number
you.
3.
Yeah. The vulnerability deepens intimacy. We'll say that, right? So then unmasking isn't just about being honest. It's also letting your partner step into the honesty with love.
What would that look like to invite your partner to meet the real you? Like, how would you actually do that?
Just as you said just a few minutes ago about you're making some assessments of yourself. You're setting some boundaries. You're setting some goals. And you're letting him know these are some changes I've made. You see what I'm saying? So now you're inviting him to really see the true you. You're being more vulnerable. That's what I could say. You're being more vulnerable. You're being more open.
This reminds me of that scene. You know, a perfect movie.
Well, I'm not sure there is any perfect.
Well, I did.
Okay.
If you would let me finish the statement, the perfect movie that is a good example of this.
Okay, what would it be?
No, Elizabeth, tell her.
Beyond the Lights.
Beyond the
Lights. And the moment that you're talking about where she invites him to meet the real her is when, I'm not going to tell y'all the whole story, but she's a performer, she's an entertainer, and she had been pretending for a very long time as a certain kind of entertainer. And so there's a moment where she cuts out her sew-in, and he sees her natural hair and she's shy about it. But that was her inviting him to meet the real her.
Yeah.
That's a good example, actually, of going from pretending to be something, the damage that pretending can sometimes do. Because I do think when you pretend so long, there can be this internal battle between who you've been pretending to be and who you've actually become.
The other thing this reminds me of what some people encourage other people to do. It's the whole idea around fake it till you make it. So that's the very epitome of pretending.
Yeah.
Right? And I've never been a fan of faking it till you make it. I mean, there's a couple ways to look at it. Do you fake it to yourself? I mean, I've being in sales most of my life. I mean, there are people who, hey, Jim, I'm buying the expensive car and the expensive suit. I'm going to look the part, even though I can't really afford what I'm doing. So there's a part where the person basically lies to themselves.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, they're also presenting a different image. But it just reminds me of the whole idea behind fake it till you make it. And I know that's not 100% applicable to a relationship, I don't guess, but there are some similarities.
Yeah, I go back to what I've said since the beginning is it all depends on the intention, internally, your intention behind faking it till you make it. If you're faking it in the sense of I don't feel confident right now, but I'm going to go in here and give the best presentation.
That's a different story.
Yeah, I think because you're pretending to be confident, even though you don't feel it. I think that can be a good thing, and that can help you become more confident. So that would be a positive way. But if you're, again, you're pretending and it's doing damage to yourself and damage to others, then I think that's when it's a problem.
Right. When you're hiding emotions, your needs and your identity in the relationship, that becomes the problem. Absolutely.
Okay. Let's end with this. People are funny, and we all want to fit in. We all want to be loved, and we all want to be considered good enough, right? So let's talk about someone that you don't have to fake it with. You can't pretend because he actually knows your every thought, much less your actions. And so we want to invite you to have a personal, very open, transparent, because that's the only way you can have a relationship with Jesus. Not that you have to be that way, get yourself in order before you have the relationship, but because he knows, kind of like the woman at the well said, he's told me everything I've ever done.
Yes.
So to me, that's comforting. I don't have to pretend because, and here's the key, he knows everything I've ever thought or done, and he still loves me.
And accepts me.
It's that
Yes.
form of acceptance that I think most of us pretending are looking for. So to me, it should be comforting that we don't have to pretend. Jesus literally loves us just like we are. Hey, Jim, I'm not sure about that. How can we be sure? He loved you and me so much that he literally died for us.
Yes.
So that's something I encourage you to give thought. If you've not made that decision to follow Christ, we encourage you to sit down, contemplate. Can we put the kind of the steps in the show notes?
Yeah, we can do
of
that.
how do you enter into a personal relationship with Christ is something we want to add. So, hey guys, thank you so much. Hope this is helpful. Remember, if you want to help us spread the word, if you found this helpful, then like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. By you getting this out, it helps more people see it. That's the benefit. Why do people keep saying like, share, and subscribe? Because the way the social platform works is the more people that like it, the more YouTube sends it out so other people who don't know about it can become aware of it. So you can play a big part in helping us do that. Thank you so much for your time. We don't take it for granted. We know you got a lot of things competing for your time. So for you to spend with us, we really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week.